Welcome back to the channel. If you missed the previous episode, we finished off stripping the interior. That includes whipping the dash out and removing the window screen. We also braced up the doors so they shut nice and cleanly. In today's episode, we will be removing the front wings and the sills and then getting some panels ordered for the car. Another thing to note here is this big long girder of wood that I've had to put underneath the car. Now in the last episode when I jacked the car up, the door shut nice and square. Now as soon as I jacked it up and put it on axle stands, that all changed. So I've had to get an extra 2 axle stands, so I've got 6 under the car at the minute. I then jacked a piece of wood along the centre of the monocoque, jacked it up, so the door again shut square. Bit of a nightmare with these. Apparently the sills aren't that over-engineered. They only actually come in a 2-piece sill kit, so you've only got an inner and an outer. Cars such as my MG had an inner, a diaphragm, an outer, and then a castle rail reinforcing it along the bottom. No way near as sturdy.
Anyway, let's start whipping these sills off. All I'm using here is a trusty angle grinder, some safety goggles, and some ear defenders. As you can see, it makes light work of the rusty old metal.
That was fun. You might notice I've actually taken no real care in removing this wing. Included with the windscreen panel, I also secured 2 second-hand wings. They are not perfect by any means, but they are a million times better than these, and they don't have any filler on, so I know exactly what I'm working with. So let's see if this rips off, I guess.
And I've missed a bit. I've never dealt with weld-on front wings before. Every project car I've worked on has always had bolt-on wings.
Yeah, the wings are now off, as is the sill in its entirety. Yeah, this really isn't too bad. Those front wings are definitely original. No one's been in here mucking about before. But it's just a shame that no one's put any wax or any protection on here. It's all very solid internally, just like I thought. I'm not sure whether I'm going to repair this or not. I still need to have a chat with my dad about that, because I don't like using the original lip, because it's a real rust trap, Joe, when it hooks round. So I don't know whether to just flat it out and then panel bond the new panel on there, and then obviously weld the rest of it. It's also a similar situation with the sill down there. Yeah, there's no real signs of any major bodges or that anyone's been in here before, so I do actually think this is original. And it's actually not that bad, the inner sill. Obviously if we scoot round here, there is a little bit of filler there, where not filler, feels like expanding foam that someone's tucked in there. Bodge probably in the 90s, you had to get it for a few MOTs. But yeah, it's not too bad. Again, I'm going to have a chat with my dad, because I might be able to repair this. If we're using a little bit of angle iron, I can sort of follow the line of that, then yeah, it would save about 300 quid. But yeah, we will see.
And more cutting the rust away. You've got to cut out all the old rot. You've got to find some nice good metal to be able to weld onto. Getting rid of the rusty metal also makes it easier to trial fit the new to me panels.
Got this new old stock panel I found in the boot, just clumped on it. I'm just going to get a few blobs on it. I have lined it up already once and marked it out. Just going to put a blob on it, and then I'm going to test the front wing again just to double check, and then we can get it seamed on properly. Clamps can now come off and we can trial fit that wing back on. The front wing can stay as it is for now, because I need to line it all up really, so I'm just going to leave it tacked on. Another issue was this rubber puck here, which is the mount for the rear subframe. When it's jacked up, it pulls away. Now, I know it looks rusty there, but the actual mounting point itself doesn't look too bad. I don't know if it's like the bolt sheared or what, so I'm going to whip this off now. I'm going to use my electrical nut heater now. Great bit of kit this. So we'll get it off and have a look and see what's wrong with that.
Taking off the central nut should give us enough room to see what's going on here.
I don't really want to touch them because they are still absolutely red hot. Now looking at this bush here, now I've got it all out, there's like a central metal collared bush, and that seems to have pulled out. So yeah, I don't think it's the rust causing the issue, although I do need to fix the rust. It's dropped down because this bush here is failed. As you can see, it's supposed to be flush to the top there, and it bolts down at the bottom like that.
Right, just 2 more bolts now. then the bush should drop out, and then hopefully we can confirm my suspicions.
And yeah, that's the failed part there. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, if you know stags better than me. But yeah, this bush failing and that pulling out there has caused it to not be able to bolt down properly. Yeah, it's not too bad under there. Obviously it needs work around here, but yeah. Right, I'm now going to sort the rot out here. We'll start off by cleaning it up and seeing what we've got left to deal with.
Right, so I started off by cutting away all the thin / rotten metal, and there was a lot of it. It can be quite hard knowing exactly what to cut away, so I suggest if doing this yourself, cut little bits off at a time, wedge it out with a screwdriver. It's very easy to cut some more away, and it's a hell of a lot harder to put metal back. Once I was happy that I got back to the good metal, I could then make a template. Then using the template, I could make a plate out of nice thick steel. Once I'm happy with how the plate fit, I can then clamp it into place and lay a few tacks down. Obviously as you go along, the heat distortion will pull the metal away. All you have to do is give it a few taps with a hammer and then it should pull back round. Once tacked in place, you can start laying some seams down in between the tacks. And hey presto, that's one patch basically complete. It doesn't look too bad if you ask me.
That's that with a nice patch over it there. If you look at the top welds there, I've done that on a slightly higher setting. It's far easier as a hobbyist welder to weld into a groove rather than welding up. When you tend to weld up and you put too much steel in there, it tends to all pour down and drip out, and then you end up with a big hole. So as I say, I tend to weld with more temp going along the top. But yeah, that's alright. It's going to need a little bit of a cleaning up and it should look perfect. I'm just going to save that last little strip there for my dad to do because he gets upset if I do all the welding. Let's give that a clean up with the angle grinder, then we can have a proper good look at it. I think we'll call it a day here with the video. Got a nice patch in there. Still waiting on the angle iron to repair the rest of the inner sill. Still waiting on the rest of the panels that I've ordered. They should be here later in the week. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, press that like button, and we'll see you next time.